Good evening and welcome to the final round of the Formula Racing League Tier 1. I am Tom Kent in the Country Box and I'll be the one presenting you with everything that you need to know throughout tonight's action here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit in Saudi Arabia. And with the championship already wrapped up last week by Big Balls, otherwise known as Kevin, there is still plenty at stake with battle for third in the Drivers' Championship still yet to be decided. And we've got a 4 or 5 way battle for 5th place in the Drivers' Championship that could be decided as well here. Well, it is going to be decided. It's just a matter of who is going to finish where. Everyone wants to finish in a blaze of glory. That is for certain. And we are underway for Q1. We've got some drivers in the lobby at the moment. There may be 1 or 2 joining a little bit later on. But we are underway for qualifying. We've got Jimmy in the Ferrari in place of Big Balls, who is not around this evening, unfortunately. Dixon isn't around either, as he is apparently at a football match at St James's Park, as Newcastle take on Everton. So hopefully you'll enjoy it tonight, as much as the drivers will be enjoying it here in Jeddah. And we've got Panda, who is in the Alpine, and Milo's as well, back after a stint on the sidelines. He did serve as a full-time driver at the beginning of the season for McLaren, but has had to make way for someone else as he had other plans going on involving him. But he's in the Alpine. Both drivers replacing Terades and Becco. Not around for tonight, unfortunately. And we've also got Smalley, who's in the Williams as well. He's the one replacing Dixon in that seat. Dixon already sealing 2nd place in the championship behind Big Balls. As we see Jimmy making his way through the sequence of turns under the lights here in Jeddah. And Jeddah that has hosted its inaugural race for Formula 1 last year in December. Lewis Hamilton coming out on top from pole position eventually, taking the championship with Max Verstappen down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. And Jeddah will be hosting its 2nd race at the end of March, completing the back-to-back with Bahrain to open the 2022 season. Now, some drivers will have already raced on this circuit before in other leagues or in another championship within the Formula Racing League. So Jimmy makes his way through the last turn, and he's going to be the first driver to begin a fast lap. Let's see how he gets on here. We'll ride on board, get the tonne sheet up, and we'll ride on board with him for a lap at this fast street circuit, the fastest on the Formula 1 calendar. So braking down to 3rd gear through turns 1 and 2 on the power nice and early, up through the gears, through the kink of 3, and then you prepare for turn 4, which is a beginning of a sequence of turns. Jimmy just taking it rather cautiously at this stage, but through the long sequence of turns, very little room for error. No problem. DRS open down this back straight, and now heading towards turn 14, which is a hairpin. It feels satisfying when you leave this corner. And now through 15 and 16, this is turn 17, which is going through now. Through 18 without an issue. And there's 4 more kinks before you get to turn 22. This is 23, and then 24, and this is 25, and then another kink of 26 to space to the left-hand side, taking the shortest route possible. And you wait for the last corner of turn 27, and spin out of that, down the pit straight. DRS is open, and this will be the first lap time of the night, 1 minute 28.2, and Jimmy goes to the top. Now it is Q1, so we're looking for the slowest 3 drivers, or we're looking for the top 15 drivers making it through to Q2. Jack goes second with 129.3, Statisticum with 132.0, not very representative. This is Lynx in the Haas, making his way through turn 14. You can see a lot of drivers making mistakes, I'd imagine. Some are going to be pushing a little bit too hard too soon. You can see the Rebel staying out of Link's way. And Link's just about keeping his car within the track limits. It's very easy to exceed track limits on this track. As Lynx gets a toe off the Mercedes of Wild Dog, who stays out of the way. Through the last corner, down the pit straight, rear wing open on the Haas. And Lynx's time is going to be a 1:28.9. He goes up to third place. And Lewis with a lap time at the moment, not a very representative one, but a lap time is a lap time nevertheless. Pimis staying out of the Williams, or staying away from the Williams as he makes his way through the last turn now in the Alfa Romeo. He's looking to end what's been a rather mediocre season for Pimis. There's been a lot of races this campaign where he's had some missed opportunities to get good results at. Wild Dog in the Mercedes, heading through turn 14 now, and Ricky goes to the top with a 1:27.9. You're expecting the lap times to come down more and more as this qualifying session progresses. So what can Wild Dog do at this stage? He won't want to make or take too many risks at this stage, but there's very little room for error here. You may have to go for it in some places, whereas others you just have to be very, very careful not to get out of shape. But it can horribly ruin the lap if you get it wrong. It's the fastest street circuit on the calendar, as Wild Dog will know, as he makes his way through turn 27, rear wing open, using the last bit of his ERS for this lap. It's a 1:28.9, he goes up to fourth place. So just a couple of thousandths adrift of Lynx, as Lewis goes third with a 1:28.7. Very, very nice lap indeed. Common Bath is on the lap, Carlos Killer coming towards sector 2 now. It's a 1:03. So I think you want to be inside 1 minute to be going for a really fast lap around this 6.1 kilometre racetrack. As Carlos Killer is coming towards turn 27 now, perhaps went a little bit too deep. This is not particularly a great lap that he's on. He's about to complete it now. It's a 1:30.5, which only puts him 8th. Common Bath on a 59.0. This is a better lap that he's on. Rear wing open. There are 3 DRS zones on this circuit, which are in slightly different places, or one of them is anyway, in comparison to how they were positioned for Formula 1 in 2021. We've got 1 DRS zone on the pit straight, 1 in between turns 13 and 14, and the other in between turns 25 and 27. As Common Bath goes 6th on a 1:29.1. Seeing Wild Dog improve his lap time. It's a 1:28.4, goes third with that. So Wild Dog on the pace already at this stage. Mario's exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so he'll need to go again. Carlos Killer is not on a fast lap. And Common Bath is through sector 1. He's a 10th down from before. He'll have burnt some fuel off from before, so he may still be on a faster lap from beforehand. It's a nice exit coming out of turn 14. You want a really nice exit coming out of there. Turn 15. You'll want to be going through there in 5th gear. Now, is Common Bath going to be in the high 58s this time? It's a 59. It's a 59.1, which is still a few hundredths down from before, but this is still looking like a decent lap here for Common Bath, although his car is preserving ERS, so I think he's going to struggle to maintain the speed which he's going to need for the pit straight. He's heading towards the line now. Common Bath in the AlphaTauri does not improve his time. He stays 6th. There's Mikey, who's 5 points ahead of Statistic King in the battle for third place in the Drivers' Championship coming into tonight. So all he needs to do is finish ahead of him, and nothing else will matter. He's exceeded track limits on the lap he was on, so he backs out of it. This is Milios, who is coming into turns 16 and 17. .58.8 by sector 2. And now he's got an Aston Martin ahead of him. Through the last turn, Mario's in the Alpine. We want to be aiming for a 1:28 here. He's in the 1 minute 28, so 1 minute 28.7, which puts him in 4th position. Now Romeo crosses over the line. That's Pimis, who is currently 10th on a 1:30.0. Mikey begins another lap. Smolly's on an invalidated lap. Swinney is on a lap, as is Maxi. So we'll go to Swinney next. He really does need a fast time here. So Wild Dog is slowly making his way back into the pits. Swinney's on a 59.2 by the second sector. And Wild Dog has retired from the session. I think he's done enough, to be honest with you, to get into Q2. At the moment, we are looking for the slowest 3 drivers. Statistic King goes 10th, with a 1:30.0, displacing Pimis. Swinney heading over the line to clock his first lap time of the session. It's a 1:29.0, which is a second faster than what Pimis had produced. Mike has exceeded track limits again, so he's not on a fast lap. Smolly through sector 1, it's a 30.5, I think it was. This is Maxi over the line for Aston Martin. Goes 10th fastest with a 1:29.4. That pushes his teammate down to 11th position. Statistic King. This is Pimis, who needs an improvement here. He's on for an improvement. 1:29.7 puts him back into 11th place, I should say, as Mikey comes back into the pits. Smolly coming through sector 2 now. It's a 58.2 as he approaches turns 22 and 23. Just about keeping his car within the track limits. It almost looked like he exceeded it, but the game has decided otherwise as he heads towards turn 26. And now at the braking zone for turn 27. He's heading over the line now. Smolly with a 1:27.8 puts him to the top. A very, very nice lap indeed from him. Well, Fake Scouser and Barry are out on circuit, still yet to post lap times. Statistic King making his way back into the pit lane. Maxi not on a fast lap at the moment, neither is Swinney, so we are waiting on another flying lap to begin. I think Barry is just coming to start a flying lap now with 5 minutes to go, so time is against him to get a lap in. And the driver at risk at the moment is Mikey, who has got no lap time on the board. So we should expect him back out on circuit, which he is doing now. Barry's got no traffic ahead of him at the moment, and Statistic King has decided... Oh, and Barry's in the wall! Barry has hit the barrier on the exit of turn 4, and remarkably, the car is still able to keep running. So Barry may have time to get back to the pits and get a front wing put on and another set of tyres, but he's very much up against it now, for sure. I was going to say Statistic King has retired from the session, and if those behind don't improve, then he may actually book a place in Q2. Maxi on an improvement through sector 1. And now heading towards a very fast chicane here. Maxi choosing to go down to 4th gear for this particular section. You ideally want to be at the very minimum in the low 59s. The 59.0 is 4 tenths up from before, so this is a massive improvement from Maxi. Keeps his car within the chart limits. There's a Haas in front of him, who will need to stay out of the way. And the Haas of Lynx is about to start a flying lap now. Maxi's about to complete his. That Lynx is coming back into the pit lane. Maxi over the line for Aston Martin, goes up to 8th place with that lap. And Fake Scouser is on a flying lap now, so we'll go to him as he heads towards turns 17 and 18. 16-17 chicane, I should say, and there's 4 more kinks before he gets to the next chicane of turns 21 and 22, or 22 and 23, I should say. He just needs to beat Statistic King. If he beats Statistic King cannot get back ahead of him in Q1. So, for Fate Scouser, it's announced that he'll be stepping back from full-time racing next season. Well, he's into the pit straight now. And that time of his is only a 1:29.6, only 12th fastest for him. And Swinney has decided to retire from the session. Currently 9th fastest. Mikey is on a fast lap at the present moment. Heading into sector 2, it's a 58.2, very, very quick through there is Mikey. Could he be a contender for pole position later on? Smalley fastest by a 10.5 over Ricky in second place, and it's Jimmy ahead of Wild Dog, who's done very well to get himself up there. And Mikey heading into the pit straight now. Rear wing open, over the line for 1:28.0, goes 3rd fastest. So Mikey safely through into Q2, no problem. So Statistic King is out of qualifying now because he's down in the drop zone and he's already retired from the session. I think he wanted that, to be honest with you. So he has a free choice of tyre to start the race on. Colours Killer is the driver at risk in 15th with 1:15 to go. And he's exceeded track limits, so Colours Killer very much up against it at the present moment. As Berry will be looking to start his last attempt here. It will be, he dropped it through turn 24 it was, but I think that may well be a glitch with the game itself. And Panda has not made it out of the pits either, so his session is over. So we're just waiting on one more position to be filled before the top 15 advance into Q2. Berry starts a lap now in the Haas. No mistakes from here. A 1:29.7, if not better than that, is what he should be aiming for. Colours Killer started his last attempt. Pimis is out on circuit now. He's on improvement through sector 1, 2/10 up from before. How is he getting on by sector 2 with 15 seconds to go? So 59.6, he's lost time in the second sector, so could that be him missing out on Q2? Not 100% sure yet. Just coming through the last turn. Just seeing Fate Scouse has already retired from the session as well, so Pimis has a chance to move ahead of him. If he does that, he'll be through into Q2. Onto the pit straight. The check flag waves for Pimis, goes up to 13th, so Fate Scouser is on the brink at the moment. Pimis is safely through into Q2. And Berry's exceeded track limits, so his qualifying session is over, which means Colours Killer is through into Q2, no problem. He doesn't even need to complete this lap. All he needs to do is just make his way back into the pit lane. So the 3 drivers we lose at the end of Q1 are Statistic King, Panda, and Berry. The top 15 go through to Q2. So Colours Killer heading over the line now. Don't think he's on for an improvement, to be honest with you. It's a 1:30.0, which is not an improvement, but he knows he is safe into Q2. So the 3 drivers we lose are Statistic King, Panda, and Berry. Berry will be very disappointed to be starting at the back, but at least he has a free choice of tyre to start the race on from there. So Smalley was fastest in that session, if I can get my words out. But Statisticking is out, along with Punda and Berry. The top 15 go through to Q2. We'll be back for it in a moment. Here we go for Q2, and we've got one of the Alpha Tauris heading out on circuit, which I believe is Ricky, on the soft compound. He'll be hoping to end his season on a high. He's already won a race this season at the Red Bull Ring. At the moment, where he is in the championship, he's on 99 points. He's 9th. He could be as high as 5th by the time tonight's action is over, so he could do with a victory. If he's going to achieve that bit, that will be tough with Smalley as part of his competition. So we're all at the end of Q2. And Smalley appears to be out on circuit on the mediums. Who else is out on the mediums? Well, Jack DNF is on mediums. Smalley on mediums. Collis Killer on mediums. Milio's on mediums. All the others who are out on circuit at the moment are on the softs. So we'll have to see how the others decide to go about their business for the beginning of Q2. I think with some of them already using a couple of sets of their soft compound in Q1, they may decide to do a run on a used set of softs and go for a set of softs for the latter part, or even use a used set for the first run and then mediums for the second. But that, of course, will be risky. Depends how you want to go about race strategy, I suppose. As Ricky comes onto the pit straight now. There are a total of 9 drivers out on track right now. Ricky is one of them, who starts a lap. Makes his way through the chicanes of turns 1 and 2. In regards to traffic, the next car ahead of him is the Mercedes of Wild Dog, who's going through turn 14, so he doesn't need to worry about that. So you'll be aiming for 32nd range for sector 1. It says 31.1 for that part. So we carry on as Ricky looks to get the best exit possible out of turn 14. Through the chicane of 16 and 17. Drifts coming out of turn 17. That will cost him some speed all the way down this straight before he gets to the far chicane of turns 22 and 23. 59.0 by sector 2. Exiting turn 27 now, and Ricky with the rear wing open will post the first time of Q2. It won't be quicker than what he posted in Q1. I wonder if he's on a used set of soft compound tyres. That was not a very quick lap for Ricky by his standards in comparison to what he posted in Q1. So he's got some work to do from that. if he is going to advance into Q3. And from what I've been told, actually, he is on the medium, so another glitch with the game itself, so that could well explain it. Thank you to those for informing me. This is Jimmy in the Ferrari on soft compound tyres. Milo's goes to the top on the mediums on the 128.7. Got a few more drivers heading over the line now as Carlos Killer goes fourth. Jimmy goes to the top with a 128.0 on the softs. And we've got a Red Bull next behind who appears to be starting the lap. That is Lewis. He's the only Red Bull left in qualifying now. There's Wild Dog, who's going well so far on the streets of Jeddah. It seems to be one of the circuits where he does well. Oh, he doesn't want to be making mistakes like that. I'm sure he's damaged the front wing by hitting the barrier there, so that'll be him off into the pits for absolutely sure. There's Lewis making his way through sector 1. It's the 31.2. Lewis is fine with traffic as we speak. And he should be in the 59-second range by the time he gets into sector 2. 59.0, very good on the mediums for Lewis. He's aiming to end the season on a high. He came in quite late in the season. He's on 36 points in 14th. He could leapfrog Terrain if he gets a good result from here. He can even leapfrog Common Bath as well. So Lewis will be hoping to end the season with a podium finish. Rear wing open on the Red Bull, heading over the line for 128.9, and it's good enough to move him above Pimis, who's set his time on the soft. So that may well be a glitch actually, but that will be for someone to let me know about. And there's Mikey on the mediums. Could be a contender for pole later on. He brushes the barrier as he exits turn 17. Into sector 2, it's a 59.1, which is not as quick as what Lewis posted by this stage of the lap. So he needs to make this last sector count now, does Mikey. Very fast through here. Rear wing open for Mikey. Over the line for 128.8, and he leapfrogs Swinney, Ricky and Lewis. So Mikey doing a very, very good job so far, as is Milios, who's second on the mediums. Who else is out on track at the moment? Well, this is Jack DNF on the mediums, heading through the first sector, 31.4, which is not the quickest, to be quite honest with you, in comparison to what we've seen from others. But only 9 drivers have set a lap time so far, so Jack won't want to count his chickens just yet as he makes his way through 16 and 17, which is not very quick. Keep out of the wall, Jack. He did touch the barrier, and I wonder if that's caused any damage to the machine. He's lost so much time on this lap. Well, 1 minute 0.3, which is over a second off from what Mikey had posted earlier on, so he's probably looking at around about a 1 minute 30 is Jack, which would see him move in front of Carlos Killer. 7 minutes to go. The bottom 5 are Smolly, Lynx, Fate Scouser, Wild Dog and Maxi, who have not posted any lap times yet. Jack about to complete his lap. It's a 1 minute 30.6. He goes behind Carlos Killer, so Jack is very much up against it at the moment. I wonder if he maybe conserved a little bit of his ERS for another run. This is his Williams teammate Smolly coming through. That's Wild Dog ahead. No, it's Mikey, sorry. I think Mikey must be on an in-lap. We'll stay with Smolly, though. Says he's on the soft compound. So is he going for a more aggressive strategy at the start? We'll have to see. He's coming over the line now for 127.6. So Smolly goes top and is through to Q3, no problem. So we've got Fake Scouser on the lap. We've got Wild Dog on a lap. 59.6 by Sector 2. This could move him, I would say, in front of Pimis. If he can nail the last corner, okay. On course for a low 29, I would say. No, he's even slower than that. Only goes 10 fastest does Wild Dog, so he's up against it now as well. He's the driver at risk. Fate Scouser on the soft compound, heading over the line for 129.6. He displaces Wild Dog, and Wild Dog is now into the drop zone. I don't know if he's going for another lap. We'll stay with Wild Dog here and see if he is actually going for another run or doing another lap now. He makes a mistake through there. The lap time's still valid at the moment. And he's 2 cents up from before, so Wild Dog may as well commit himself to this lap, because he needs to get out of the bottom 5. Through 16 and 17, no problem. Keeps his car out of the wall. Lynx is out on circuit in the Haas. Max is still yet to make his way out of the pits. Probably just going to go for the one run, I should say. And Wild Dog is a 10.5 up from before by Sector 2. So this is looking very good for him to possibly get out of the bottom 5 for now at least. I'm just looking at the amount of time we've got left in this Q2 session. We've got 4.5 minutes remaining. So Wild Dog's got time actually to get round and into the pit lane and get a set of softs on. In fact, he's decided to bail out of the lap he's on. He's into the pits. Is the Mercedes driver who is currently in P11. There's Lynx, who perhaps wants to get his lap in, jump the queue, and get his lap in before all the others make their move. You can see Maxi is heading out of the pits now. Is it Maxi who's heading out of the pits? No, it's Carlos Killer who's heading out of the pits. So Maxi's still in the drop zone. He may decide not to go out and do another lap time, but I could well be wrong. As Lynx looks to bag a place in Q3, he's got a good chance of doing that, given the genuine pace we've seen from him in previous rounds. Moving open. And he's over the line to start a lap. So Lynx needs to get a lap in. And Miley has decided to retire from the session, and that's no problem for him at the moment. The driver at risk is Fate Scouser in 10th place, and Lynx has exceeded track limits at turn 4, so that's his lap done. May as well back out of it and preserve tyre life before he goes for another run. This is Colin Barth, 9th quickest at the moment on a 129.5. He is 3/10 away from the drop zone, so I think he's done the right thing to go back out again, this time on a set of softs. How's he getting on through sector 1 here? The 31.1, and he's 4.5 tenths up from before, so it's a very good lap time from Colin Barth at the moment. He wants to move in front of Milio's, ideally. To do that, he would need to be ahead of him by 8 tenths. Well, not by 8 tenths, 8 tenths improvement from his previous best. Swinney goes up to 3rd place on a 128.3 on the softs. So the track is evolving at the moment. And Colin Barth is now 6 tenths up from before by sector 2. Smalley is retired from the session. As we see the AlphaTauri coming towards turn 27. He exits out of there. Over the line he comes. And it's going to be a 1:28.8, good enough for 5th fastest. Not in front of Milios though, but that should still be quick enough to get him through into Q3. Now we've got drivers on fast laps at the moment. Lynx is just starting his again. This is Carlos Killer, who's in the drop zone in 12th position. He's desperate to get out of the bottom 5. And he's 7 tenths up from before, so he's looking good at the moment, is he, to get out of there? At the moment, he's not, but if he continues to up his pace in the last sector. He could well do. This needs to be the lap of his life, though, if he's going to make it into Q3. So Colors Killer entering the last turn now. He'll get the DRS open on the pit straight. And it's a 1:29.5, a full second faster than before, good enough to move into the top 10. So Fate Scouser in the pits is out of qualifying. Maxi is also out, and so is Jack because he's exceeded track limits. So we've got Wild Dog on a fast lap, and Lynx almost being held up there by Common Barf. He's cut the barrier, has Lynx. So time is against him to get another lap in. Wild Dog currently in P12. Needs a fast lap time here, and he's on a good one. This is a 1:28.8, good enough to move him in front of his teammate. So Wild Dog is through into Q3. Lewis is on a fast lap. Permis is not. He's currently at risk, and the checker flag is about to fall. So Permis will not get another lap in. Colors Killer is on another lap, almost drifting coming out of turn 17. So it'll be either Colors Killer or Permis joining Fate Scouser, Jack, Lynx, and Maxi on the sidelines. I didn't quite see what Colors Killer's lap time was through Sector 2. I'm just going to assume at this stage it's quicker than before, which it will be. Is he finding enough time on this lap? He's heading onto the pit straight now. Colors Killer, can he get himself out of the bottom 5? No, he can't. He's lost time in the last sector, so Colors Killer out of qualifying. So the 5 drivers we lose at the end of Q2 are Colors Killer, Fate Scouser, Jack, Lynx, and Maxi. All the others go through to Q3. Now, to take note of those who are on the mediums, got Mylios, Mikey, Ricky, and Lewis through on the mediums. All the others are through on the softs. So there we are, Smolly on top again, but we lose Colors Killer, Fate Scouser, Jack, Lynx, and Maxi. They're all out. The top 10 go through to Q3 to battle it out for pole position. We'll be back for it very, very shortly. Welcome back to the final part of qualifying. As you see Lewis making his way out onto the racetrack. Could he be a contender for pole position later? Who knows? They'll just want to get their banker laps in and hope for the best. It seems to be that Smalley has the upper hand over the others with his pace. But all the drivers on circuit will be on the soft compound now, so Lewis will be focusing on just that. Doesn't need to worry about elimination and all that. He just needs to absolutely go for it. So we've got 7 out of the 10 on circuit. Permis, Wild Dog and Swinney are still in the pits. So Jeddah is a very, very fast flowing racetrack with 27 corners. It's anti-clockwise, so it'll be the right front that will take more of the beating than the front left. And so Lewis will begin a fast lap very, very shortly now. So Lewis begins the lap. So he heads towards turn 1. Brakes, gets the car turned in without an issue. And he powers it out of the turns and heads towards turn 4 and 5. He's out of shape through 6, unfortunately, so that'll hurt his rhythm. Keeps his car within the track limits, though. 30.7 through sector 1. And it looks like Ricky. Is that Ricky behind him? No, it's Common Bath who's behind him. So Lewis will carry on his way. So Pimis is heading out of the pits now, as is Wild Dog. I'd expect Swinney to join them very shortly. Lewis, he almost exceeded track limits there, but got away with it. DRS open as he heads towards turn 27. So Lewis heading over the line now. And this lap of his is a 1 minute 27.9. So he goes top for now. We want to see what Comerbath is on. It's on 128.6 for him, which is fairly quick. Ricky, who's on a 58.2 by sector 2. I would expect him to displace Lewis with the lap he's about to put in here. Over the line, 127.9, goes fastest by 0.004 of a second. How is Smalley getting on? 138.7. He made a mistake on his lap, so he's going for another flyer. Wild Dog is back in the pits. Or is it Mikey who's back in the pits? Mikey who's back in the pits because he exceeded track limits. Jimmy powers his Ferrari out of the last turn. This lap of his, 127.8, goes fastest by over 1/10 of a second. So it seems to be first blood to Jimmy at this stage. Minos is 4th for the 128.4, or 128.2 I should say. It looks like he's on another flyer. Let's see what his sector 1 time is like. It expects to be around the mid-30 range. There's a 10 down from before actually, so not a very quick lap. Common Bath heading through sector 2, faster than before, so he's probably going to move in closer to Minos, but not ahead of him. So where will this put Common Bath here? Will it move him onto the second row of the grid? I highly doubt it. The answer is no. He improved by a couple of tenths, but not enough to move in front of Minos. Smalley, 1.6 seconds up by sector 2, but that's because his lap time is rather unrepresentative. So this final sector needs to be very, very good here for Smalley if he is to be on provisional pole, which he is so. 127.1 by a massive 0.7 of a second. That is how quick Smalley is. So the two-time champion in the Formula Racing League on provisional pole in Jeddah. So Pimis and Wild Dog are on fast laps. Pimis heading towards the last turn now. He's on the pit straight, and this lap of his is a 129.2, only good enough for 7th, so slowest of all the time so far. Wild Dog will want to move in front of him. And he does go in front of him by 1/10 of a second, so Wild Dog up to 7th place, Pimis down to 8th. So Common Bath, who is making his way back into the pits at the moment. So Wild Dog not on a fast lap. Pimis improving through sector 1 though, so we'll stay with him. And 1:29.2 is what he posted just now, so he needs to get into the 1:28. Very nicely done there through 16 and 17. That's his time right through the second sector. 58.7, 6/10 up from before. So Pimis will easily displace Wild Dog with the way he's going about his business on his lap. He's clipped the barrier, it seems. He's turning a bit too soon, which will compromise his speed between now and the end of the lap. Into turn 27. Pimis boots it out. Gets the power down and straight line, takes the shortest route to the line possible. 1:28.6 is 6/10 faster than before. Closes in on Common Bath. Just a couple of tenths behind now, so game on in that particular battle. As Swinney has made his way out on circuit yet to get a lap on the board, so using the gap in the traffic to make his move. I just worry as to whether he'll end up getting held up in the traffic. As you can see, one of the Alpha Tauri's is heading out on circuit now, so they need to be careful with Swinney on a fast lap. He's going to be on a fast lap very, very shortly. So Swinney about to begin his time run. Through turns 1 and 2. Nicely done through there, but he's exceeded chart limits, unfortunately. So Swinney will have to back out of it and go again. At least he doesn't have to worry about traffic at the moment, though. And Pimis will just be desperate to get back to the pits as soon as he can here. Now, where are we in terms of time on the clock? Find out what the time is on the clock very, very shortly. Makes you feel like a school student when you're waiting for the clock to reach the time so you can leave your lesson. Back in those days for myself, for sure. As Pimis is heading back to the pits now. Has he got another set of soft tyres waiting for him? Or is that his session run? We'll find out shortly. He's got 2 minutes 50 to go, so he's got time. Not a lot of time, though. So he breaks the Polystyrene board. But Ricky's about to start his attempt. It could be his last attempt to go for pole position. He's a long way back, though, from Smalley, so this needs to be the lap of his life for Ricky if he is to snatch pole position away from Smalley. A front row start is possible, though. That probably should be his aim, but we'll see. Now he needs to be ideally in the low 30s by sector 1. It's a 30.5. It's a 10.5 up from before, so this is looking good for him to get up into second place on the grid at the moment. Very close to the wall coming out of turn 14. Ricky on the pace as we speak. Now this is where sector 2, is he finding enough time through here? Could even be in the 57s if he's lucky enough. It's a 58.0, 2 tenths up from before, so I think Ricky is looking good enough to get onto the front row here. No traffic to worry about with a minute and a half to go, so he's got time to do another lap actually if he wants to do that. He'll have burnt off some fuel on this lap to help him next time around. Here he comes then. He's already on a 1:27.9. Can he move himself in front of Jimmy? Yes, he can. Up to second place he goes. 1:27.6 for Ricky. Excellent effort. And Colin Bath has just completed his latest lap. 1:28.4 for him. Or he's just starting a lap now, I should say. As we go to Mikey next, who is coming towards turn 27. He's got time to do another run if he wants to do that. Where is Mikey going to emerge here? Probably on the second row, I would have thought. Even better than that, front row. 127.4 for Mikey. Excellent job from him. Swinney over the line. Only 9th fastest. Would have won 29 or 128.9 for him. So he's in front of Wild Dog, who is just starting his last attempt now. Lewis is not on a quick lap. Milos is on an invalidated lap. Smolly's just starting his last effort now. So what about Ricky? How's he getting on? Invalidated lap, so he'll start no higher than 3rd on the grid. Commonbath is down by sector 2 from before. So he's not looking as though he's going to be improving his lap time yet to lift off the throttle. It seemed a little bit more than he desired. But we'll see how he gets on in the remainder of this lap. Commonbath out of the last turn. Where is this going to put him? He's exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so he's not going to improve on his time. So Wild Dog through sector 2. 8/10 up from before, so Wild Dog absolutely on fire on this lap. Could he get onto the 3rd row of the grid? He ran wide through turns 22 and 23. He may get a tow off his teammate. So Mikey will want to move out of the way here. Stays over to the left. Wild Dog through turn 27. He'll certainly move up from 10th place, but how high will he move up? It's a 128.3, goes 7th. So Wild Dog on the 4th row of the grid. That's a very, very good effort from him. Smolly over the line, increases his margin over the others. He improved by 0.2 of a second over Mikey with 126. So Smolly is on pole position for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Jeddah. It's a fine way to kick off his evening with pole, but can he convert that into a win? Mikey will join him on the front row with Ricky and Jimmy next behind, with Lewis and Milos on row 3. Wild Dog and Commonbath making up row 4. And at the back are Pimis and Swinney. Swinney will be very disappointed with 10th on the grid, it has to be said. He just ran out of tyres, it seemed. 2 seconds off the pace as well. So Smolly's on pole ahead of Mikey alongside, and it's Ricky and Jimmy on the 2nd row. Lewis and Milos on row 3. Wild Dog and Commonbath are on the 4th row, with Pimis and Swinney rounding out the top 10. Qualifying is over. We go on to the last race of the season, who will end their campaign in a blaze of glory. And so the end is nigh. 25 laps are ahead of the drivers as we are raring to go for the start of this race. There'll be a formation lap, so there'll be a chance for us to run down on the grid and what tyres each driver is beginning the race on. In regards to when next season will begin, for your information, it's something I'm looking to know about. And that's something I actually don't know about. So if you are involved in the Formula Racing League, you can find out in the Discord in the days to come. Well, the formation lap is underway. We've got 18 drivers in the lobby. So let's run down on the grid. Smolly on pole ahead of Mikey, and it's Ricky and Jimmy next behind on the 2nd row. There's Lewis and Milos on row 3, followed by Wild Dog and Commonbath. Pimis and Swinney round out the top 10. There's Carlos Killer and Fate Scouser on row 6. 15th and 16th, with Panda and Bowie rounding off the grid. We expect to see Panda making his way through the field because, from what I've heard, his pace is rather electric. If that proves to be the case, then we could well see him as a full-time driver next season in Tier 1. It'd be fantastic to see him in there. It'd be the same with Smolly as well. In regards to which tyres each driver starting the race on, Mikey, Ricky, Lewis, Marios, Carlos Killer, Fate Scouser, Panda and Bowie beginning the race on the mediums. The others are all on softs. We expect the race to be a one-stop, but if any of the drivers fancy it, they could decide to do a 2. But there's only 25 laps here in Jeddah, so I think that may prompt them to do the one-stop. But who knows? If we get a safety car, that could well change race strategy for some over others. So Smolly is slowing the field down, so he's not having to wait on the grid for too long. Mikey will be focused on the lights as well. He's got a chance of sealing third in the championship, especially with his rival Statistic King way down the order in 16th place. I think he's more focused on just keeping his car out of trouble at the start, but you've got to really go for it around this street circuit. They're so quick. You know, anything can happen, particularly when it comes to race incidents. So in regards to the championship, so Mikey's 5 points clear of Statistic King, Mikey on 171, Statistic King on 166. The battle for 5th is realistically a 5-way tie. Well, it is a 5-way tie between Swinney, who's on 118, Bowie in 6th on 117, Fate Scouser in 7th on 115, Carlos Killer in 8th on 103, and Ricky in 9th on 99. So still plenty at stake coming into the last race, but who's going to pick up the last victory of Season 4 in Tier 1 in the Formula Racing League? So Bowie taking up his 18th position on the grid, and we are set to go for the last race tonight. Smolly, can he convert his pole position into the victory? So the engines rev, the lights illuminate in front of the drivers when they go out to be racing on the streets of Jeddah. It's lights out, and away we go. Smolly gets off to a fine start. Mikey having to go defensive with Jimmy, who had a bit of a tow coming into turn 1, but Smolly stays in front, and we've got Mikey in second place, followed by Jimmy. There's cars fighting over track position at the moment. One of them had to go through the run-up here. I think it was Pimis, who I think gained a position by going off the race track, so he's giving the place back to Common Bar. But the field seems to be through safely. We've got a few cars going side by side there. That's the Red Bull Lewis passing Marios for 5th place. Then it's Common Bar, Pimis, Swinney and Carlos Killer in the top 10 so far. Pimis has already got a time penalty as we speak. Face Scouse has dropped down the order big time. He appears to have damage in that Alfa Romeo, so he stays out of the way of the other drivers. He's on the back foot already. So Smolly leads by over a second. It's Mikey in second place. Jimmy, who's on the soft compound, in third. Ricky in 4th place in the AlphaTauri. Jimmy trying to make a move on the Mercedes coming out of turn 17. The pair go side by side. Jimmy trying to get into a tow and make a move on the Mercedes. I don't think he's going to go for it as they approach turn 22. But he may do it into turn 27. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the race as Mikey looks to hold off Jimmy as they come through the remaining set of kinks before the last braking zone of the lap. So Smolly braking clear, and Jimmy on the inside of Mikey as they approach turn 27. Jimmy down the inside. Mikey will have more speed on the exit to remain in front. So does Jimmy get into the switch and have a go, or does he maybe wait for the DRS to be enabled, which won't be for another lap? So whilst that is happening, we've got a battle further behind, and that's Common Bath going toe-to-toe with Lewis. Round the outside goes Common Bath and through into 5th place. Nicely done there. Round the outside especially as well without DRS. So a very good move there from Common Bath. Lewis now needs to go defensive on Minos behind. We've got a bit of a tussle going on behind between Wild Dog, Lynx, Jack and Carlos Killer over 10th place. They seem to have got through safely there, and it looks like Panda, Statistic King, Fate Scouser, Maxi and Bowie are also in the action. I think Maxi's car is controlled by the AI, so he's not being able to get back in time and control his car. So wherever he finishes, I doubt he will be included on the classification. So Smolly now 2.5 seconds clear. He's really making the most of those soft compound tyres. Doesn't need to worry about tyre life at this moment. He just needs to continue pulling away as he is doing. And Jimmy all over the back of the Mercedes once more. Now, how much ERS has Mikey got left? He's got around 55%. Jimmy's got around about 70% of ERS, so he's got a little bit left in him as they come through turn 25, there's 26, and the last left-hander of turn 27. Jimmy looks to the outside. Does he go for it? The outside may be the better line for the Ferrari. Mikey shuts the door on him, but Jimmy will be back for more. He'll get into the slipstream as Mikey continues to defend. Smolly with a knee passes that as they begin lap 3, and the DRS is now enabled. So the next time the drivers can use the DRS will be on the exit of turn 13 as Jimmy gets a penalty now for track limits. He'll have to live with that for the remainder of the race. 3 seconds it is for the Ferrari driver. So I'm looking forward to see if we can see any drivers using the DRS to overtake. As Lewis gets past Bar for 5th position as the field make their way through. It's a very daunting series of bends. Some of them are blind. It can easily catch the driver out if they turn in too early or turn in too late. And Milos is the next to be penalised, so I expect there to be a lot of track limit penalties being dished out. It's just a matter of who can keep their car on track the most. As Jimmy looks to make a move, doesn't go for it on Mikey at the moment, but Mikey's losing ground on the leader. So Smolly continues to pull away, and this is a lovely camera shot that we are seeing as Jimmy continues to close in, or is continuing to be over the back of the Mercedes. And Mikey runs wide, nearly clipping the barrier on the inside of turn 23. That could have been curtains for the Mercedes pilot. Jimmy will get a run on him with the DRS open, round the outside, and that is surely him through into second place. So Jimmy through into second. What can Ricky do behind? He's on the medium compound, remember. But Mikey will have the DRS behind the Ferrari, so Ricky won't be able to make a move at the moment as Swinney gets past Pemis for 8th place briefly before the Alfa Romeo fights back. We can also see Bar fighting it out with Milios for 6th position. To the inside into turn 1. Mikey with a penalty at the moment. Bar through into 6th place. Milios losing out horribly also to Pemis and possibly to Swinney as well. Side by side they come. Swinney on the inside of the Alpine. Gets through on him and also gets through on Pemis. And someone's in the wall. Wild Dogs hit the barrier and his front wing's gone. Luckily he's able to continue. That's a really bad dent to his race as he falls to the back. There's a lot of debris there as well as Pemis seems to have trouble at the moment. I think he must have gone for a spin in the Alfa Romeo, so he's dropped back also. And it looks like Pemis is continuing to have his own melodies. He's gone for another spin there. So he's got a lot of work to do from here on in. It looks like Jimmy's pretty much moved away now of Mikey. We just want to gain a little bit more so that Mikey does not get the DRS behind him. As Ricky continues to close in on the Mercedes who's got the DRS, but so does Ricky. He won't go for it into turn 27. He can have a go on the pit straight maybe. That may well be his best chance to make a move. He waits behind for now by the looks of it. He's not using his DRS, so he's not using that to close in on the Mercedes as we speak. This is Lewis who's running in 5th, had a common bar. Then we've got Swinney, Jack, Milos, Lynx, Panda, Carlos Killer, Statistic King and Fake Scouts are fighting over P7. Jack gets in front of Swinney before they get into turn 1. So there are points on offer for the drivers. As Panda looks to make a move on Lynx for 10th place. Looks to the outside but does not go for it, and wisely so. Statistic King on the inside of Carlos Killer into 12th position. Still going side by side. Neither of them is yield at the present moment. Carlos Killer keeps his Aston Martin in there. And good on him. Carlos Killer back through into 12th place. Statistic King will need to go on the attack once more. So we're on that 5 out of 25. Smolly's lead is now over 4 seconds over Jimmy. As Mikey's dropped back out of DRS range at the moment. Now expect maybe around lap 8 or 9 for those on the mediums to come into their zone to actually pounce on those on their warm softs. Ricky behind Mikey, closes in on him now. Got the DRS advantage. Does he go for it into turn 27? He may decide to. Mikey lets him through. He appears to have done that quite deliberately so they can get the DRS on the pit straight. He's going to have the DRS now. He's going to make a move on Ricky. Ricky goes defensive. Mikey to the outside into turn 1. Can't make the move stick. So Ricky through into 3rd place in the AlphaTauri. So he's put his name out there to being a contender to finish 5th in the driver's standings. At the moment with 3rd place, that would net him 26 points. That would move him on to 125. And at the moment, it would not be enough. He would need the likes of Swinney, Bowie, Faitskjelsen, and I think Karlskjaer as well to not really score, but we'll see the standings as the race continues on. Karlskjaer with a penalty now as well. We've seen a few drivers already with penalties, so that could come into play at the end of the race. And Pimis and Wild Dog did continue, by the way, for your information. Pimis did not pit at the end of the previous lap or the lap before. Wild Dog did, obviously, because he lost his front wing. So Wild Dog has left himself with a load of work to do now between here and the end of the race. So Smalley looking very, very good, looking comfortable as well, as Mikey looks to make a move back ahead of Ricky. Does he go for it into turn 27? He's too far back to do it there, so he'll wait behind for now as Commonbath gets through on Lewis. So Commonbath passing the Red Bull, and into 5th place he goes. So Scenario looking for a top 10 Drivers' Championship finish at this rate. Lewis looking just to improve his points tally. Jack defending from Swinney. He's got the DRS on him on the pit straight. He needs to watch the Alpine and the Haas as well. And this is Lynx looking to the inside, does not go for it. Milo's still continuing to put his foot in there in the Alpine. He can't get through either, so Jack stays in 8th for now. There's Panda, who's running in P11. Not able to get through at the present moment, so we'll go back to the battle for 3rd place. Now Mikey has a penalty to his name, Ricky does not. So if the race was to end now, Ricky would move up into 2nd in this race and would seal 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. It would also confirm that Mikey would finish 3rd to Dixon and Big Balls, with him finishing where he is at the present moment. So Jimmy running in P2. 4.8 behind Smalley. So this is a good ding and dong battle at the moment. Mikey looking to make a move on Ricky as Milos gets past Jack to head towards turn 27. Mikey making a move on Ricky to the outside into turn 1, and Mikey's back through into 3rd position. Very nice move there. We'll go back to the battle for 7th place as Jack and Milos make a move on Swinney, and it looks though that Milos has got the jump on the pair of them. To the inside, getting his elbows out. Milos up into 7th. Swinney running wide. He looks though he clipped the barrier a little bit there. He's lost a position to Lynx as a result of it. So Swinney dropping down the order from 7th to 10th in a space of a few corners. And look at that. Lynx diving to the inside there of Jack, who made a mistake at the corner before, and Lynx was able to take advantage. So Jack down to P9, and he'll have Swinney for company before they get to the DRS zone. And Swinney nearly dropping it. Jack looking to make a move, decide not to go for it there into turn 14. That was very nearly a collision. This is a wonderful battle to watch out for. Really, really good racing, it has to be said. It won't be too long before we start seeing pit stops as well. So Ricky, who's running in 4th place, is behind Mikey. I think he's going to go back through here with the DRS open. Mikey doesn't go defensive. He knows Ricky will be through, and Mikey will have the DRS on the pit straight. So the rear wing open to the outside. Does Mikey get past, back through? He does. Very clean move. This is a very, very good race in between these two well-respected drivers. Smolly gets a time penalty for track limits. He's out in front anyway, so it won't affect his position as we speak. That's Minos fighting it out with Lynx, has got through ahead of him. So Lynx up into 7th place now. Can he pull away from these group of drivers, or from this group of drivers? Not by getting a time penalty. That certainly won't help, as Swinney and Jack continue to go into combat. So this is lap 9. And is Smalley thinking about a pit stop at this stage? Probably not. He's got track position at the moment, which he'll want to keep hold of. .7 seconds is the gap between Smalley in the lead and Jimmy in second. And there's Ricky behind Mikey. He'll probably feel he won't decide to go for it. Bill needs to watch Mikey's move here. Mikey stays in front for now, so Ricky will have the DRS on the start-finish straight, unlike last time. And we've seen pit lane at 17, and Smalley's in, as is Jimmy. So Mikey will take over the lead, and Jimmy's gone through the pit lane too quickly as Ricky gets past Mikey for the race lead. So the lead changes twice in a matter of seconds. As Smalley exits the pits, the cars feed back out into turn 2, so Smalley may get the benefit and actually get out in front of the Haas. Wheel to wheel there between himself and Lynx, and Smalley aggressively barges his way through and into 5th place, and crucially with track position. So very clever there, very, very clever, and timed the pit stop to perfection, to be quite honest with you. Where has Jimmy rejoined? He's down in 13th place. Milos now gets a time penalty for his troubles, and he's all over the back of Lynx. He'll be making a move, or trying to close back in on Smalley, who's now on better tyres and can go to the end of the race on the mediums which he's on. So Ricky in the lead, trying to pull away from Mikey. No time penalty to his name at the moment, but he will know that Smalley will have a penalty applied to him at the end of the race for track limits. So that'll give Ricky some form of hope when he goes onto the soft compound tyres later on. So Common Bath is running in 4th place, still yet to stop. He's on the soft compound, so it could well be seeing him in the pit lane by the end of this lap. Let's wait and see. He's almost going to the left. He's actually carrying on for another lap, so Common Bath staying out for now. Milo's passing Lynx, who is in the pits. So this will be him coming in for a stop. Jack also in, likewise for Statistic King. Lynx back out on a set of mediums. And he'll come back out in 12th place ahead of the McLaren of Swinney. Jack gets out in front of Swinney, so Jack able to maintain track position ahead of the McLaren. Statistic King has got Maxi for company, who is controlled by the AI, unfortunately, so Maxi not able to control that, so he won't be scoring any points this evening. As Ricky and Mikey continue to do battle. So we're approaching half race distance already in this one. It's gone very, very quick. Mikey right up to the gearbox of the AlphaTauri. But does he go for it? He's not used the DRS actually, so he's playing a clever game here. Neither driver will pit in at the end of this lap. They'll be taking their mediums as far as they can. Mikey making a move for the DRS open. Ricky almost putting him into the wall there. It was a little bit naughty there from Ricky, but they've got through cleanly anyway. Smalley making a move on Lewis and setting a new fastest lap. To the outside he goes. Lewis does not really fight it out with him, and so Smalley gets past no problem. Into 3rd place he goes. And Commonbath is in the pits for AlphaTauri as we watch Fate Scouser and Jimmy fight over 7th position. Jimmy, who's already pitted, unlike Fate Scouser, has got himself through. So Commonbath rejoins in 12th place ahead of Jack and Swinney. So Swinney not having the best time of it of all as Milos gets a penalty for track limits. And Jimmy picking up another 3 seconds. He's now on 11 seconds worth, is Jimmy. So his place on the podium is very much under threat now. He may even drop further down the order if he's unlucky, as Wild Dog gets past Pimis, who's just come in for a tyre change. Panda, the next to be penalised. That's his second penalty of the race. So we've got a total of 8 drivers who have yet to pit. Well, 9 actually, if you count Maxi, whose car is controlled by the AI, running in 16th place. So Ricky into the slipstream and DRS open and gets back ahead of Mikey once again before they get into turn 1. Fate Scouser behind Carlos Killer in the fight for 8th. Neither driver has fitted yet. Fate Scouser desperate to make a move and get a move on here. He does so. He's past the Aston Martin and through to 8th place he goes. And Bowie, who we've not really spoken much about in this race, is currently running in P10. He's also yet to stop. So he's probably going to end up in the lower end of the points by the end of the race at this rate. So you can see the skies are darkening as the race is going on. We're on that 13. We're at half race distance now. Ricky and Mikey still yet to stop. Incredible racing that we're seeing at the moment. Very clean from the drivers, it has to be said. I did fear that we're going to see some accidents, but thankfully we haven't. The biggest accidents we've seen was from Wild Dog, who wrecked his front wing at turn 4, but recovered. He's now in 16th position. Swinney moving in front of Jack for 13th. As Mikey looks to get back in front of Ricky as they begin lap 14. On the inside, and Mikey is through into the lead once again. And Lewis being overtaken by Melios for 4th place. Wild Dog with a penalty for track limits. No effect to his race position should the race finish as it is. And that's Fate Scouser into the pits at the end of lap 13, so he'll go on to the soft compound. Out he goes. And he will rejoin in front of Statisticking, I would think. And Jimmy passes Panda for 6th. So he's fighting his way through. And Mikey's been hit with another penalty now for track limits, unfortunately. So that's 6 seconds worth. That'll play into Ricky's hands. So Ricky, at the moment, by finishing 2nd in this race, at least, would be enough for him to move into 5th place by the season's end. He needs to be careful at the moment. He's got past Mikey rather easily, and someone's had a spin in sector 1, and that's Wild Dog, who's ripped off his front wing again. I think this is going to be him retiring from the race once he comes back to the pits. So Ricky under threat from Mikey once more as they begin another lap. Mikey is through, no problem. Into the race lead again. And Lewis into the pits for Red Bull. We'll go on to the soft compound. And it looks like, I think there was a bit of a moment. I think Mikey's lost time actually to Ricky. So Mikey, I think, made a mistake and he's lost ground to the AlphaTauri. So Mikey's on the threat now from Smalley, who's getting a lot of ground on him, I have to say. Only 2.7 seconds behind him. It won't be too long before the leaders do come in. Smalley doesn't need to, of course. The amount of time you can gain on the car ahead is absolutely incredible in the space of a lap. Especially with there being 27 corners on this 6.1 kilometre circuit here in Saudi Arabia. So Wild Dog into the pits for Mercedes. Is this going to be a retirement for him, or is he going to carry on? I think we've been the season coming to a close. He may as well carry on. I think he will. Smalley back into the lead as Ricky comes in for his stop. And Mikey has had to wait a little bit because the Mercedes crew was servicing Wild Dog. So Mikey's lost out horribly in this pit stop. A new front wing's gone on for him as well. Oh, he's lost out big time, as Mikey, unfortunately. Ricky's ahead of him by a long way, actually. Now, Mikey will get out in front of this duel between Lynx and Common Bar. Fake Scouser with a new fastest lap. So Mikey in 7th place now. There's still drivers yet to pit, of course. But that front wing change, that delayed pit stop, won't do him any favours one bit. There's Jimmy, who's back into 2nd place now. But should the race end as it is, he'll fall behind Ricky. Smalley, no problem for him at the moment. He's just dominating, as he is doing. So Wild Dog trying to unmap himself from the Ferrari. The car is ghosted, of course. There's Smalley, now 9 laps away from victory. That's Mikey, pushing ever so hard. I think Ricky at the moment, as far as the battle for the lead is concerned, he's less than 14 seconds off the race lead. So if he can actually if he gets within 3 seconds of Smalley, he would take the victory. He would easily take 2nd place from Jimmy. If he was to get anywhere near Smalley, he would need to pass the Ferrari. So now or never really for Smalley, or for Ricky, I should say. Panda in, back out on a set of soft compound tyres, and he's back out in 10th place ahead of Lewis. So we've still got 2 more drivers yet to pit in. They are Carlos Killer and Bowie, who are fighting over 4th place on track. Bowie looking to get through, does so, as Jack has gone for a spin at turn 4. He's continuing on his way though, so no need to worry about that. And Wild Dog's unlapped himself from Jimmy, as Ricky continues to close in. Absolutely on fire is Ricky tonight. He's having a better race than we've seen from previous races this season. Mikey with another penalty. That takes his tally to 9 seconds now. So his place on the podium is at risk, most certainly. So Wild Dog unlapping himself again from Jimmy. The gap is 1.9 seconds between Jimmy in 2nd and Ricky in 3rd, as Bowie and Carlos Killer are into the pits together. So these are the last pit stops. So Carlos Killer is in, Bowie is in as well. Soft tyres going on Bowie's car. He's out on his way. Statistic King should get past the pair of them, and he is through ahead of Bowie into 11th position. So Bowie out in front of Carlos Killer, and Swinney into the pits for soft compound tyres. He's had a wretched race this evening, and he's going to fall behind Pumis now and out of the points. And Ricky now less than a second behind Jimmy. This is a fantastic performance from Ricky at the moment. As well for Jimmy, who is one of the reserves called in for tonight. Now, what does Ricky decide to do here? He goes to the outside of the Ferrari. He's got through. He needs to get a good exit, though, because the Ferrari is going to have the DRS on the pit straight. He's using his DRS to fend off the Ferrari, and I think Ricky's through, no problem. So Ricky is through to second place on the road. Jimmy knows he's out of contention, really, for finishing in second place. So Ricky just needs to pull away, and Jimmy's off! Jimmy has hit the barrier on the exit, and he's wrecked his front wing. So Jimmy's hopes of a podium finish are gone as we watch Common Bath and Lynx fight over 6th place. And Wild Dog has retired from the race, crashing out. And the safety car is deployed. Now that will make things very interesting. Wild Dog off the racetrack in a big way, actually. Well, looks like turn 10 he's gone off at. So the safety car is out. That's going to give Jimmy some reprieve, actually, because he won't fall down the field as quickly as he would have been under green flag conditions. As you can see, Pimis coming into the pits for a move onto the soft compound. Now, what does Smolly decide to do here? Does he pit in at the end of this lap? Or does he carry on with his mediums and keep track position? If I was him, I would come in, maybe. But that's his decision. We'll wait and see. You see how much he's pushing there into the pit lane. He comes, brakes to the 80 km/h speed limit. Now this needs to be a very quick pit stop here. There's Ricky, who's adhering to the safety car Delta. Smolly's pit crew are down the far end of the pit lane. Ricky will go through into the lead. Smolly exits his box now, and he'll rejoin in second behind him. So we've got a contest to the end with Ricky into the lead as Jimmy comes in. Mikey needs to be careful not to run into the Ferrari. He may well have done that. Yes, he has done that. And that's another penalty for him, unfortunately. Some of the drivers are actually staying out on the tyres that they are on, so this is going to make things very interesting on the restart. Bowie, I think, may as well stay out. He wasn't so long ago since he came in for a change of tyres. So Jimmy down in 11th place now. I think he serves some of his penalty at his stop as well, so that's that out of the way. And at least it gives others like Swinney a chance to actually salvage something from this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So Ricky has caught up to the safety car now. And Common Bath, who's in 3rd place, on course for a podium now. So could looking at 2 AlphaTauris on the podium at this rate. So we're on lap 20 at the moment. The safety car will stay out there for another lap. And we'll have 4 laps of racing by the time it does go back in. So we'll be in for a nail-biting finish to the season. Won't be as controversial, of course, as what happened in real-life Formula 1 in Abu Dhabi in December. But we are going to be in for a tasty restart, that's for certain. There's Fake Scouser, who is called up to the queue now. Others will be doing the same. Swinney, Jack, Maxi and Pimis are also catching up, so all the 17 drivers remaining will be on the lead lap. So Ricky on course for 5th place in the championship. Looking at the fastest up of the race, that's Mikey's at the moment. And looking at the penalties, my goodness me, Mikey could even fall out of the points at this rate, fall out of the top 10. And that would open the door for Statistic King to move in front of Mikey in the standings for 3rd place. He's got no penalty to his name. Mikey's got 14 seconds worth. 14. So the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. We're just waiting for confirmation as it will go through the 2nd sector now. And so it will be, you can see a gap forming behind between Lewis and Mikey. The safety car lights should be going off now by this point. And it is off, and we'll be going racing once more for the final 4 laps of the season. Some drivers have got penalties, others don't. This is going to shake up a different finish to the race to what we had anticipated. But Smalley's got a fight on his hands if he's going to win this race now. I just don't know how he's going to manage it. We're about to get underway. We'll look at the tyre life for the first lap of the restart. We're underway, and look how far Commonbath is behind Smalley. He's been caught napping. So Smalley going for a move on the outside into turn 1, does not go for it. So Ricky leads ahead of the Williams, who's got better tyre life than the AlphaTauri. He needs to get past and open a gap on the AlphaTauri before the DRS is enabled. So looking further behind, Mikey's got past Lewis into 5th place on track. This car's going to almost losing it there through the sequence of turns. And there's Panda running in 4th place on track. Lynx in front of Colours Killer as the field make their way through turn 14. Lynx holding 9th ahead of Colours Killer, and Jimmy fighting his way back through the field. He needs to maximise his chances of a points finish. Oh, a little bit naughty that he didn't quite see Colours Killer in time. That was very nearly a race-ending accident for the Aston Martin. Colours Killer now with a time penalty for track limits. That's the Haas of Lynx and Jimmy going side by side. No way through for the Ferrari until now. Jimmy's got through, so Jimmy passing another car and up into 9th position. Next up is Bowie in the other Haas, as we watch Milios chasing after the Red Bull of Lewis, as we watch Panda making a move on Common Bar for 3rd place. So we're beginning to see a gap open up now between the top 2 and the rest. So Mikey needs to get past this guy as soon as he can. Common Bar is engulfed by the Alpine and the Mercedes, and he's been overtaken. Smalley with a new fastest up of the race. He's just got through on Ricky. So Smalley into the lead of the race with 3 laps to go. Can he pull out a 6-second margin and take victory? We've just seen Bowie go for a spin at turn 1, and he's lost a bundle of time. So that's his chances of finishing 5th down the drain for him now, most certainly. So Smalley leading. Ricky, at the moment, would win this race and collect 40 championship points. And with Fate Scouser, Bowie and Swinney down the order, that would be more than enough for him to take 5th place in the driver's standings. At the moment, between Mikey and Statistic King down in 14th place with no penalty to his name. Mikey at the moment will be dropping all the way down. So at the moment, I'm not really sure whether Statistic King will be doing enough. He may just be doing enough to snatch 3rd place in the driver's standings from the Mercedes driver. There's Ricky keeping in touch. He's now out of DRS range, actually. So he just needs to focus on staying within 6 seconds of the Williams come the end of the race. So watch Mikey making a move on Panda with the DRS. Also no DRS at this point, so Mikey needs to get the move done as soon as he can to maximise his chances of a good points haul. And he is through at last, is he? He is now. Smalley with a new fastest up, pulling out all the stops, 1.3 seconds in front of Ricky as they begin the penultimate lap of this race now. And Milo's tapping the back of Panda. That won't do his car any good. as Jimmy gets past Common Bath for 6th place. He's through. And Lewis on the inside of the Alpha Toad. Does Common Bath seem in time? He does just about, and the Red Bull's through. There was a little bit of contact on the exit, and Common Bath goes for a spin now. Front wing gone, and that's his chance of a points hole gone for him. We're on the penultimate lap of the race, so the safety car will not come out at this stage of the race now. So Common Bath gets himself out of the barrier. No points will be going to him tonight. What a shame for him. Smalley continuing to head out in front. Watching Marios going after Panda for 4th position on track. Marios will be dropping back horribly as it stands. There could be more time penalties. He's dissed out and he's just earned himself another one. So he could be falling out of the top 10 at this rate. So Marios gets through as Smalley is about to start the final lap of the race. At the moment, he is not doing enough. He needs to plough another 3.7 seconds on Ricky on this last lap. That's too much of an ask for him now. The safety car has played horribly into his hands. So Panda holding off Milios for 4th position at the moment, as Jimmy looks to get through on Milios, but he's just given himself another time penalty of 9 seconds. So Jimmy at the moment, he's not going to be finishing on the podium at this rate. He's on the inside. Can he get past Milios? The answer is yes, he does. Round the outside through there. Very, very neat manoeuvre. And Scenario is just making his way back into the pit lane at the moment. But Smalley continuing to stretch out his margin, not doing enough at the moment. Ricky just doing all he needs to do. And he's on course for his 2nd win of the campaign. And Jimmy looking to make his way through on the Alpine of Panda as the corners tick down on this last lap. And doesn't quite go through, unfortunately. Well, he's through now, actually. So Jimmy through into 4th position as Common Bath retires in the pits. Here's Smalley then. He's opened up 3 seconds of the 6 that he needs. But it's not going to be enough for him to take victory, unfortunately. Unless Ricky makes a mistake through this last turn, which is unlikely that he'll do that. So Smalley coming onto the pit straight for the last time. He's going to take the checkered flag first. But it's Ricky who's going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for AlphaTauri. Well done to him. And with that, he, at the moment, to my calculations, finishes 5th in the driver's standings. And that's an Alpine into the wall by the looks of it. Smalley drops to 2nd place. Panda on the podium for Alpine in 3rd place on debut. Very, very well done to him. He started at the back of the field, if you remember. So great job from him. He gets the Driver of the Day award according to Codemasters. But Ricky is your race winner tonight in Jeddah. So the drivers celebrating on the podium. Ricky, your race winner. Smalley 2nd. And in 3rd place is Panda on debut. So here's your final race result of the season. Ricky wins with Smalley in 2nd place and getting the point for the fastest lap. Panda 3rd. Statisticking 4th for Red Bull with no penalty to his name. Bowie 5th. Excellent for him. Fake Scouser 6th. Lynx 7th. Jimmy 8th. Swinny 9th. And Lewis in 10th. Carlos Killer 11th, followed by Pimis. Mikey down to 13th place, only picking up 3 championship points. Jack 14th. Milo's the last points finisher in 15th place. Maxi, whose car was controlled by the AI, so that won't be classified. Common Bath retired with 1 lap to go, so he'll probably take that 16th place. No points for him. Wild Dog, the only driver to not finish. So with that, Statisticking has leapfrogged Mikey into 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship by finishing 4th here tonight. Excellent job from him. Playing the long game has worked out perfectly for him. And with Ricky collecting 40 championship points, Fate Scouser picking up only, at the moment, 16. Bowie picking up 20. So 18 tonight. Fate Scouser picking up 16. Swinny only picking up 10. So by those points finishes, Ricky has put himself onto 139 points. Bowie by on 137, Fate Scouser on 131, and Swinny on 128. So yes, Ricky does leapfrog Carlos Killer, Fate Scouser, Bowie, and Swinny up into 5th place. Very, very well done to him tonight. So, with that being said, Big Balls is crowned champion by a long margin of 58 points over Dixon. Neither of them competed tonight, but Statistic King's points haul moves him in front of Mikey by finishing 4th. 20 points for him, moves him on to 186 points. And Ricky in 5th on 139. That includes 2 victories at the Red Bull Ring and Jeddah this evening. Well, all that remains for me to say is congratulations to all those competed this season. Or say thank you to all those that competed this season. Congratulations to Big Balls, Kevin that is, for winning the championship in fine style last week in Bahrain. And it's been another brilliant campaign of which I've enjoyed so much. And more importantly, I just want to take this moment to say to you all, it's been fabulous for me to be a part of this Formula Racing League community over the last 11 months. But it's safe for me to say that this is where it ends for me. Thank you very much to all those, including the admins, the drivers, and everyone else involved in the FRL, including James Williams, for inviting me to be a commentator for this particular league in Tier 2 to begin with, and of course Tier 1 in the last 3 seasons. Thank you to Jack Bowie for being in good company with me for the podcast as well, along with Bruce, otherwise known as Fate Scouser, being on board and helping me out whenever needs possible. I won't disclose where I'll be heading to next, but it is something very exciting of which you'll be looking out for from when I do announce on social media. Thank you very much for watching us. Do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And I want to say farewell to all those to the Formula Racing League. I will be back soon, but it's time for a new face to fill in my shoes in the commentary box for Tier 1. So all that leaves me to say is very best of luck to all those for the future. And we'll look to do it all over again next season, whoever is in the commentary box for Tier 1. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns. And it's a farewell from me, and it's goodbye.